welcome to my review of Pokemon Journeys, episode 47, Pokemon Champion, Battle of Big Eaters. So basically this all starts off with Sakuragi suggesting that Go enters his Squovit into an eating contest, following it eating quite a lot of the lab. So Team Rocket entered with Morpeko too, who has a larger than usual appetite, and of course they're starving. Right off the bat, that's a good start for me. I'm critical of Journeys Team Rocket a lot. They're finally getting to see an episode with some focus on the Pokemon. That's sort of theirs, but not really, and you know what, that's the best we're getting, and I'm more than happy with it. I love Morpeko, you know. Okay, so something pretty funny is that the lab assistant Kakuna is a really big fan of competitive eating. That's one of those things that you don't really get until you see it, which they kind of present through Kaharu, which is pretty good use of both those characters, I guess. The champions Snorlax and Blaziken are competing alongside the boys, with Dragonite and Squovit and Team Rocket Morpeko, a bunch of all the other competitors. So despite being small, Squovit and Morpeko amaze everyone. Ash ends up going out since Dragonite is actually a light eater, but it does also get to be cute on the sidelines with him, so that's pretty nice. Team Rocket worked behind the scenes to cheat and fill the opponents up with some cookies, which both Morpeko and Squovit ate, but they're actually fine. With the competition thinned, Go and James managed to move on to the finals along with the favourite to win, Blaziken. The last dish they have to eat is some Torchic Manju. Morpeko and Squovit just down those, and in a really funny joke, Blaziken isn't actually eating them because they're obviously Torchic themed, and he decided to retire the tournament with the Manjus to protect them, which is pretty funny. And even after all that, Morpeko is finally satisfied and reverts back to normal. They try to feed it some more, but it blasts them off with Aura Wheel, and funnily enough, it goes with them. So Squovit powers through the pain it's feeling to catch up with Morpeko's record, 1-2-3 plays, and evolves into Greedent, which allows it to beat Morpeko quite easily, and Go wins the whole thing. We cut to Team Rocket again, who are just kind of going to eat the Manjus, but Morpeko is hangry again, and that's the end of the episode. So what do I think? To be honest, this isn't really an outstanding, plot-heavy episode, but in that way it actually serves its purpose quite well. It's a nice cute little episode off the back of the Darkest Day arc, the boys fighting against Mewtwo as well. So, you know, it works really well as a cooldown. Frankly, my favourite bit of the episode is Team Rocket and Morpeko. Is that a shock? Not really, but Team Rocket trying to cheat to get Morpeko to win so they can finally eat something themselves, which is a food prize in Unova, which we'll be seeing next week actually. It's pretty funny. So, they do everything to rig the match in their favour, but they never consider Morpeko just filling up as it is. Morpeko is just a ton of fun to watch too, and while this wasn't necessarily a focus episode on it, it did give it some really good screen time. I didn't really find its angry eating gag to get old. I also love a little patch they keep it in to keep it controlled, that's cute. This was a good chance for Go to focus on a bond with another one of his Pokemon too. He plays this legit and goes with some really smart plans like using Squovit's Bullet Seed to get rid of the excess seeds from berries, or using a Tomato Berry to break up the monotony of eating sweet food over and over again. Cinderace and Sobble don't even go along to the contest with him. It also gave a bit more of a personality to Kakuna. She's kind of just been the lab assistant, and now she just so happens to be a huge fan of eating contests and a Blaziken that's competing in it. Because of course she is. It's a nice little quirk for her character that she has now. And having Kaharu to be an audience surrogate there to hear Kakuna's excitement, it was a very nice little thing. So comedy is pretty on point too. As I said, Morpeko gag I find pretty funny, but Blaziken protecting with Torchic Manjus was just so great. What a great way to get the champion out. Oh, and look, it's finally feeling a bit less episodic. They actually set up the fact that the prize is a trip to Unova. And whereas next week's episode set, Unova. That's great. And one last thing to mention, I love the new updated opening sequence. This team shot in particular is so precious. So, would I recommend the episode? Yeah, I think it's a fun cool-off episode. But will I revisit this episode? Okay, probably, yeah, just for Team Rocket. But it's not going to be a huge standout one, I reckon. It does what it needs to do well, and that's what matters.